Hey everyone, welcome back to the Mega Man Legacy Collection challenges. We've gotten pretty far in these challenges, but there's still a handful more to go, and yeah, we're pretty far. There we go. Mega Man 6 Remix 1. Yeah, last time we had one of the first Mega Man 5 videos, and we're also introducing Mega Man 6. So starting off pretty simple here. This is from Blizzard Man's level. This is a fun section because you can just speed through it with slides, and it feels good. This section from Centaur Man's level. Plenty of spikes underwater, as these games like to do. But it's always handy that in most Mega Man games, if you're hurt from an enemy, you won't die to spikes. Until the invincibility wears off, of course. Flame Man's level. That oil on the ground will slow you down, so it's best not to jump in it if you can. And Mega Man 6's controls are a bit strange. They kind of broke something. Not in the emulation, just in the game itself. Like, sliding is actually pretty dangerous, because you can no longer cancel it with a jump. So you might slide at the wrong spot and just be destined to fall into a pit. So it makes me a bit scared to slide a lot in this game. This section is from one of the Mr. X levels, and they've got some very strategically placed turrets here that we need to worry about. Normally you take this section a bit slower and use some of the extra weapons to kill those turrets, but we're speeding through so we can take some damage. And then Eddie gives us something. Well, it was only an E-Tank. If I really needed health though, I could have just stopped and used that E-Tank, because I don't think the E-Tank follows you through the save states. Your health does though, so I could have used the E-Tank before jumping in the portal. But I figured I probably wouldn't need it. These strange panda enemies, they don't really like rapid fire. That's a pretty good trap there. And we ride the wind turbine to victory. This upcoming mini-boss is very weak to the fire blast. Or flame blast, I forget which it's called. You have to shoot it in the eyes, but yeah, it is super weak to this weapon. Just 4 shots. This is from one of the alternate paths. Mega Man 6 has a lot of different paths you can take through levels. So you might play through the game and not actually ever see that enemy. So I like that they used it in these challenges. On to Big Pets. What a name. What a name. This is from Mega Man 5. I forget if it's from the Wily Fortresses or from the Dark Man levels. Oh, it'll be from Wily actually. The Dark Man bosses are all Dark Man. It's an interesting enemy. It's weak to the Crystal Eye. And you have to shoot those segments to make them come flying out at you. Then you can use them as platforms. If you don't jump on them right though, you'll get hurt by them. And those flying enemies coming down from the ceiling are very annoying too. Not too bad of an enemy once you get used to it. Mechazaurus, that's a name. This is a cool boss. I mean, it's a dinosaur. Come on. So it's weak to the Yamato Spear, and its hitbox is a bit tricky. You have to get it in the eyes. But it's a bit precise. So I like to just fire a bunch of shots to make sure I actually hit it. Yeah. And that challenge actually waits for the boss to explode before the challenge finishes. Some of these challenges just end very suddenly. Mega Man 5 Remix 2. Back to Mega Man 5. Starting off in Stone Man's level. We've got these fun spinny platforms to play around with. Yeah, I love Mega Man spinning sprite. That's great. There might be a quick way you can get through that room using the movement items. But, you know, it's pretty simple. Pretty simple to speed through. That segment from Gravity Man's level, not too bad. This segment, I forget which level this is from. It's from one of the Robot Master levels, but I forget which one. These underwater Mets can be pretty annoying. They're very well placed to annoy you, so I like using Gravity Hold to just get rid of them. And I just remembered, I think that was from Starman's level. Yeah, that sounds about right. This section from one of the Fortress levels, it's a blatant ripoff of Super Mario World's Snake platforms. But it's pretty cool. Super Arrow is very nice, and then even if we get hit, there's a handy platform there we can land on. And then we can use Rush Jet to finish the job. You can see just how much slower Rush Jet is in this game than Super Arrow. And oh my god, I nearly died there. That was so close. It was like a pixel from falling from death. That's a pretty tricky jumping segment. And this one's another tricky jumping segment. And yeah, I would have died there if I hadn't hit that spike enemy. Because I wasn't quick enough jumping on the Super Arrow. Health is getting very low here too. And yeah, all these platforms are spinning. So they're kind of like tiny little conveyor belts that you have to worry about. With enemies moving around, some of them. Yeah, these games, Mega Man 5 and 6, overall they are easier than some of the earlier games, but they do have some really tricky segments in them when they want to be. This last part of the room is pretty simple. You can actually speed over a lot of different segments of that room with Super Arrow, so you've got a few different options there. And this section is from Crystal Man's level. I think in a previous video I referred to Crystal Man as Jewel Man. That's not right. Jewel Man's a different boss. He's from 9 or 10, I think. But yeah, this segment's kind of annoying. You have to take it pretty slow because you have to kill those crystal shooting enemies. And they're invulnerable while they're charging their dumb little crystal. And these crystal droppers are horrible. They'll just drop things at very random intervals, so if you're trying to jump over and it drops a thing on your head, then you're going to fall into a pit and die. So Star Crash will block you from that. Very handy. And this segment's from Charge Man's level. And skipping these segments with Super Arrow, I've actually found it pretty tricky trying to get it all right. Because you use a lot of Super Arrow ammo very quickly. So you kind of have to try and find the best spot to use it for you. And there must be a quicker way to kill these enemies, but I didn't really experiment with it at the time. And there's one last mouse enemy there. That's why I stopped to charge. Otherwise I would have slid right into it. And there you have to go left, not right, or you'll scroll into spikes. Thanks, Mega Man 5. This is from Gyro Man's level. You can Super Arrow over this part, which I think I'd do it later on. And it's a lot easier than doing it this way. Gravity Hold is very good for just clearing the screen of especially those annoying enemies. And might as well get rid of the turrets too while you're at it. They use this save state a couple times in the challenges. So you will get some practice at this segment. And more of those chicken enemies. They really like those things, don't they? The good news about this segment is that you have plenty of opportunities to refill your health. You've got some health there, and you've got a big health on the ledge waiting for us. It's very nice. And this part's a little tricky. You have to be quick or you'll get knocked off the platform. You can take it slower and use a special weapon to take out those enemies, but we're going fast. There's a nice little segment, and Super Arrow just skips a huge chunk of it. Yeah, Super Arrow's pretty great. And this last enemy, if you're quick enough, you will get under it and you can climb the ladder and it won't even touch you. This segment is from Wave Man's level. It's a cute little puzzle, jumping puzzle involving these bubbles. I don't know if there's any good way to skip a lot of it, but just take it slow and steady. It's pretty much just a test of, do you know how to do this jumping puzzle? Then you can skip this tiny last little bit with a Super Arrow if you're confident. Another screen I just want to clear off with Gravity Hold. But then we have the tigers. The tigers are really nasty enemies in this game. They have a lot of health, and they will just pounce on your face. Charge shots are good at taking them out, thankfully. And that's the Mega Man 5 Remix 2. So, on to Mega Man 6 Remix 2. Getting a lot of Mega Man 5 and 6 challenges here. So this segment is, it's from Blizzard Man's level. It's a cool little segment where you're on a ship that's going up and down, or a submarine or something. And depending on if the ship is up or down, certain areas are dangerous and certain areas are not. So you kind of get into a rhythm, depending on how quickly you're going through it. You'll get used to when it's going to be safe and when it's not. It's really fun to charge through. And this is a cool segment from Centaur Man's level. You've got upside down water. And it helps you make that one jump there. So you need to make sure that the water is down, otherwise you have to stop and wait. Otherwise you won't make that jump. You can probably skip it with the rush adapter. But using the water is pretty fun. These enemies are pretty annoying. You have to shoot their barrel to make them pop their heads out, and then you can shoot their heads and kill them. And that one didn't feel like popping his head out, so I just went. Drill enemy is not too dangerous there. Rapid fire messes them up pretty well. And we've got a lot of segments from the Mr. X levels. Like this segment kicks my butt. This is one of the hardest segments in this game. The Rush Jet adapter is very handy for making these jumps a bit easier, but it's overall a really nasty segment with these blocks that's... You have a little balancing act, and you have these annoying enemies that like dropping things on your head. You got spikes on the ceiling too, just in case you don't have very good control over the Rush Jet. And yeah, the Rush Jet adapters in this game are really cool. You actually combine with Rush instead of just Rush turning into a jet. There's also the power adapter, but I don't think I use that in any of these challenges. Another Mr. X segment. But like Mr. X's level here. Those enemies really aren't a big deal, and oh my god. And this is, I think, the other really hard segment from Mega Man 6. This is from Plant Man's level, and it's a nightmare. So you've got these platforms you have to shoot to open up. They stay open once you've shot them. You've got those fish that are jumping up, just to try and knock you in the water. You've got those bloody beetles zooming forwards. And you've got these springs, and those jumps are harder to make than they look. You have to really kind of get used to the spring physics. Thankfully they're easy to control, because you can just hold it jump, and it will make you keep jumping. But when you have to get a shot at the right height, then yeah. It is a little tricky. Yes, you have to kind of learn with, oh my god, those beetles. You have to learn where those fish are, those beetles. And then these turrets, these cannons, are super annoying. Bouncing up and down on the springs. Such an annoying enemy. The most annoying. Except the beetles. And the fish. Whew, that segment's brutal. And my appearance there was a bit weird. I appeared on the right, but I was actually on the left. I don't know. This Met Dispenser dies really quick to the Flame Blast weapon. It's not a big deal if you use this weapon, it just melts to it. So do these enemies too. It's a good weapon. Now I've got this strange squid enemy which does not like rapid fire at all. Right in the face. I guess no one would really like that, would they? And this segment is from one of the Wily levels, I think. This one has some pretty tricky jumps in it. Especially right towards the end. Yeah, those fans do a huge... they hugely affect your jumping and your momentum. So I like Rush Jets just to make this a bit easier. Especially this one jump coming up. This one jump is why I equipped the Jet Adapter. Yeah, that one. With Jet you can just jump right over it. Otherwise you actually have to jump into that pit. And then try not to get blown into spikes while you're killing that fan. It's really nasty. So I just jet over it to make things easy on myself. Because this is actually a pretty difficult challenge overall. It's got quite a few of the really nasty parts of this game all mashed together. This segment's nice and simple though. I like those little platforms that swap sides. It's very chill after some of the nastier parts of this challenge. Then some of these Tanuki raccoon enemy things. They shoot balls at you. Mega Man 5 Robot Rush. We haven't had a Robot Rush in a while. So let's have one. Starting off simple with Napalm Man. Napalm Man does not like crystals apparently. So we use Crystal Eye to shoot him a lot. I like Nepal Man's pattern, it's pretty fun to dodge. It's not very tough. If you miss a shot with Crystal Eye, then it'll split and start bouncing around. It's kind of like Gemini Laser. You have to wait for it all to get off screen before you can swap weapons. Or fire again. On to Crystal Man, who's weak to Gyro Attack. Gyro Attack is pretty tricky to use against him actually, because it doesn't home. You have to actually make it go up and down manually. So I like just dropping it in his face instead. And then on to Gyro Man, who's weak to the Gravity Hold. So weak to it. Poor thing. You just keep using Gravity Hold until he dies. Yeah, we were following a weird weakness order there, but now we've broken it. Now we're on to Wave Man, who's weak to the Charge Kick, which is an interesting weapon. It turns your slide into an attack. Although it's tricky to use against him, because, yeah, I should not have done that slide there. He was up against a wall, so I was guaranteed to take damage there. I should have waited for him to jump. But yeah, if you can get the positioning just right, then you will slide straight through him, and you're invincible while you're sliding. He's pretty annoying though, because he drops those water spouts at pretty much random spots, and I'll quite often just slide into them. And they hurt apparently. Gravity Man. Gravity Man's weak to Star Crash, and he's got this fun gravity gimmick going on, just like his level. He swaps gravity whenever he feels like it. And somehow you have different gravity to him, I don't know. Star Crash is good to use against him since you can hit him as you're going past. But you need to get the positioning right, otherwise you'll go right through him and get damaged. Charge Man. Charge Man, I don't like Charge Man. He's pretty annoying to fight even with his weakness, because his weakness sucks. It's Power Stone. It's a pretty annoying weapon. See, I was pretty low health there, so... Charge Man is pretty tricky to do with no damage, I think, because he has a lot of randomness in his pattern. Of course he charges at you, he's a train robot thing. And sometimes he just does short charges out of nowhere, and it's pretty tough to see it coming. Yeah, Power Stone is really annoying because once you fire it, you can't fire it again until all the rocks are off screen. And that takes a while, as you can see. But if you go into the menu like I'm doing, then the rocks will disappear, and it will let you fire again much quicker. Very handy for taking out Charge Man, otherwise he's just a pain. On to Stone Man, who doesn't like bombs. So we use Napalm Bomb against him. Stone Man mostly jumps around. He does have that gimmick where he turns into a pile of rubble on the ground and doesn't take damage. But Napalm Bomb has lots of ammo, so you can just spam it if you want, and you'll kill him. Starman. Starman is weak to the Water Wave. I'm not sure why, but it's very good against him. It even destroys his shield, which is like his one gimmick. So not only do we kill him, but we almost completely remove his dignity. Goodbye. Poor Starman. MM5 Megamix. So we've got this segment again from Gyro Man's level. Yeah, here we go. Now I use Super Arrow and yeah, get it the right height and you'll skip pretty much that whole room. And then they even have some ammo here for you to use. It's like they're new. You can use Rush Claw to jump up there, or you can do what I did and sort of double back. And I didn't quite get that right, so I lost my Super Arrow. And now I have to walk along the ground like some kind of loser. And deal with these annoying chicken enemies. I could probably just slide under it actually, but I think I wanted that health. Yeah, you can slide under it and then go up the stairs. Yeah, that segment's not too bad as long as you keep moving. You shouldn't get hit by those enemies. My favourite way to clear this room is just gravity hold. Then you just take the platforms. Not sure if there's a quicker way up there. You can probably just use Super Arrow and make yourself a little staircase. That's probably the quickest way. Like, kind of like this. And then we just skip the tiger pit. Look at all those tigers. We don't want to deal with that. I love the little tiger sound effect they made. They did a good job with the NES sound chip. Make them sound kind of like tigers, I guess. Yeah, it's this segment again. Ooh, I almost hit those spikes. And the gravity hold even gets rid of the turrets that haven't popped up yet. Not sure how that works. It does, though. And this room again, yeah, they like using these really tough rooms over and over. Yeah, so there's like 3 different segments you can use Super Arrow on here. So this time I do these 2 segments without Super Arrow. And then I'll skip over this segment. Not really sure why. Just felt more comfortable skipping over all those enemies that are otherwise rather slow, because they make you stop. So I did the 2 hard parts of the room and then skipped the easy part. And Charge Man again. They must have known that my least favourite boss from this game is Charge Man. Yeah, he just keeps walking towards you, so you can't really jump over him when he's walking at you, because he'll just immediately turn around and walk into you. He's an annoying boss. And did I mention his weakness sucks? Easiest to fire it when he's like right behind, just to make sure one of the rocks will hit him. And a bit more Super Arrow love. Super Arrow is pretty great. And I'm not sure what happened there. I think the Super Arrow that rebounded hit me and knocked me off my Super Arrow. I think. This game would be so hard to speedrun. Speedruns of it look really cool though. Alright, this is one of the Dark Man bosses. And it's very weak to Beat. So we're going to let Beat peck the hell out of it. And yet, Beat will just keep going even while you're frozen. Very handy. This segment from Crystal Man's level again. Yeah, Beat is it's a special weapon you get in this game if you collect all the letters of Mega Man V, which are hidden throughout each of the Robot Master levels. It's worth getting because Beat is very good in this game. It's one of the few new things in this game, Mega Man 5. And yeah, using a Super Arrow here is highly recommended. You have to do that tricky slide, but you'll end the slide not automatically, so it's not as hard as it looks. And then you don't have to deal with those stupid jewel crystal dropper things, which will kill you. Unless you use Star Barrier to block them. Star Crash, sorry. Speaking of Star Crash, fighting Gravity Man. You can shoot Star Crash forwards if you want, but I have trouble hitting him with it. Takes some timing. And having killed Gravity Man, we go to Gravity Man's level. Okay. Fair enough. Another little snake segment. There are 2 of these snake segments in this game. They're both pretty neat, I think. Some have got these falling enemies that try and drop down on your head. They're not too bad to avoid. They're also pretty weak if you can shoot them. Oh boy, 1 bar of health left. Can we do it, or do we need a death? No, that was the last segment for that. Very good. And this is the last one we'll look at for this video. Wily Machine number 5. Which is of course the Wily boss from Mega Man 5. This is a 2-phase boss. And it's an interesting boss because it's weak to Super Arrow of all things. It's not weak to anything else. When I first played I couldn't actually figure out its weakness because I didn't think to use Super Arrow. But it teaches us that Super Arrow is not just a movement tool, it's also a weapon. Basically it's the best thing ever. And then we fight phase 2, which is the Wily capsule. For this we need to use Beat. You don't have to, but you do need to if you don't want to suffer. Because he often appears at heights that you just can't reach. And Beat will track him down and hurt him. Yeah, Beat just zooms after him automatically. While he's teleporting around the room. And you don't quite know where he's going to appear, he just kind of appears somewhere. So he could appear on you and do damage to you, or right above your head and drop something on you. And for this save state they give you an M-Tank, as you can see, and here I am trying to use it. An M-Tank will refill your health and all your ammo. What I really wanted was the health refill. But I couldn't figure out how to select it in the menu, and as a result I die. But yeah, it restarts you from phase 1. Yeah, and I still got a gold on this one. Figure that out. I guess this one is so lenient, I guess it's just Did you finish it? Yes? Okay. Have a gold medal. But yes, that thing is so weak to super arrow. And here I am very puzzled, once again trying to figure out how to get that M-Tank. I much later figured out that you have to select the second column of weapons and then press up. That's how you get to it. M-Tanks are pretty good. Yeah, so this Dr. Wily capsule is, it's pretty long. I didn't realise at the time though that you can just shoot your weapon normally while you have beat out. Because beat's completely automatic. And if you just shoot, then you'll shoot a little, one of your normal shots. I don't think you can charge a shot. But yeah, you can just shoot a normal shot, so I could have snuck some of those in at some point, just to make this fight a bit quicker. And yeah, Beat can do a little dance over your head. It's pretty fun. And sometimes Beat will like home in for a second hit like that, but won't quite get it, but then Beat will tell you where Wily's going to appear, which is super handy for avoiding damage from him. Because that's all you really need to know to completely avoid damage in this fight. To try and get Beat to home in quicker, it's best to try and stand with your back to Dr. Wily, because Beat will hover over your back. And I think Beat's activated by proximity, so the closer you can get Beat to him, the quicker Beat will attack. But yeah, try and make sure my back is to Dr. Wily like that. That'll stick Beat onto him. And one last hit. There we go. We don't even see the hit, it just suddenly, the challenge is over. So yeah, that's the last challenge for this video. Next video we'll have 7 more. 7 now, it's a weird number, but that's because this challenge is very long and we'll have a separate video for that one, so I hope to see you next time. See ya!